something's coming. Do you know what it is?
March.
Are you ready for it? It's not March Madness. It's change!
Oh.
Change is coming. Change is always coming. Fellow Toastmasters, friends and guests, we've experienced change throughout our entire lives. From the moment of our birth, which, mind you, was a shocking change. I don't remember it, but I can only imagine what that must have been like. What are your choices? What are you going to do about change? The way I look at it, there's three things you can do. You can resist it. You can give in, or you can adapt. All perfectly valid options depending on the situation. The key thing is to know change is not bad. Regardless of the situation, based on your perspective, you can make change into something good no matter what happens. So you can resist. You can resist change. Has anybody here ever been sailing? I mean, actual sailboat, okay? Now, everything's great as long as you have wind. And as long as the wind is going in the direction that you want to go. That doesn't always happen, though. Now, a lot of boats do have a motor, so therefore you can resist that change, I suppose. But even then, even if you're in a little tiny skiff and you're trying to sail and you're wanting to go that way, but the wind's coming this way, you have options. Sailors do what's called tacking. Because even though they may not be able to move straight forward, they can use that wind to carry them at an angle, and they'll still make progress forward. And then they can come back the other way. And it's a zigzag approach, and it may take a while, but they can keep moving forward even though things are pushing against them. And honestly, when you're sailing, just as long as it's not a storm or something like that, we know how Gilligan's Island turned out. It's still a fun day out on the water. Hopefully you've got sunny skies, hopefully you remembered your suntan lotion, but you probably have friends, you probably have a picnic lunch or something like that. It's a great day out on the water. You may have intended to go sailing all around, but the wind is working against you, but you know what? That's okay. You can still go out there. The wind isn't always the only thing working against you, though, right? If you are in your job, if you're in your life, there's always things that are going to happen that may try to slow you down. But you know, from the day you were born, haven't there been a lot of things trying to slow you down? Parents telling you, slow down, sit down, settle down. You have to go to school. Why do I have to go to school, Mom? I know everything I need to know. No, trust me. Now you know. Now you know you didn't know everything you needed to know. So you can resist, as long as you resist in the right way, like a sailor does tacking against the wind. You can give in to change. Does that mean you're just going to lay down and die? No, you're not going to lay down. You're going to give in a different way. Who here has ever been on a hot air balloon ride? Nobody. Okay, let me switch that. Who here has ever seen hot air balloons up in the sky? Okay, hopefully everybody. Good. Thanks for playing along, everybody. My favorite time of day is right at dusk. When you see it's still orange on the horizon, the sky is a dark navy blue, maybe some stars are starting to show, and everything right at the horizon is silhouetted in black. To me, that is the most beautiful time of day. The way it looks, the way it feels, to me, that is great. However, there's always buildings, there's always telephone poles, power lines, something getting in the way. Now imagine you're up in a hot air balloon. Now mind you, you may think, oh, do balloons really go up at dusk or at night? Absolutely, there are balloon rides that'll happen at night. You need to know where you're going, you need to have a plan. A lot of them will take off first thing in the morning, sort of the same view. But now you're up there, you've got everything you wanted to see. But unlike the sailor, you are literally at the mercy of the winds. You're just going to go wherever life's going to take you. Now imagine now, to do that though, you still have a goal in mind. You still have some place you want to end up. But where you're going to end up is where the wind is going to take you. We live in a sea of change. You want to talk about politics? Things have changed a lot over the last 20 years. We've gone from status quo to major changes to perhaps role reversals. We've seen the same thing when it comes to, over the last 100 years, when it comes to civil rights, equal rights, etc. Things have changed. We have still ended up here, regardless of all the trials and tribulations that have happened. Whether you fought back against things and made change, or whether you simply just coasted along. The world hasn't ended. We're all still doing okay. We all still get to see those sunsets every night. So you can resist, you can give in and just float along, or you can adapt. I don't know how many nature enthusiasts we have in the group, but there are some types of trees that thrive because of fire. You would think one of the most destructive things, you see these horrible forest fires and wildfires, maybe in California, sometimes they've happened in the Midwest states, and just thousands of acres have been decimated. If you look at them now, they've recovered. Some of them have thrived. New Mexico, for instance, ponderosa pines, especially there's a lot of pines, they rely on that intense heat for the pine cones to open, for the seeds to come out, and then you have all of this ash that was left all over the ground, that basically becomes fertilizer, gets into the soil to help it grow. So those trees over time have adapted to that. They are thriving in that sort of environment. A lot of work environments are very chaotic, and they can be very hard to deal with sometimes. And you may be very happy doing the one thing that you like to do over and over again. But you know what? That doesn't always happen. Sometimes things are going to be different. You've got to shuffle the deck a bit. And when that happens, you can learn to adapt. You can say, you know what? I know my job better than anybody else knows it. I think we're all experts on a lot of different things. There's some of you in this room will be better than other people in this room at certain concepts or certain ideas, certain skills. But I think we also all know that somewhere, whether it's within our own club, within our company, whatever it happens to be, there's somebody that probably knows something we don't. There's probably somebody who has a little bit of an edge, maybe has focused specifically on something that we weren't aware of. And that's why change is occurring. And they may say, you know what, you were great, you're absolutely right, you're great at doing this. This is absolutely perfect. But that isn't needed anymore. And it's rough, but you know what's needed? This is what's needed. And I can show you how to do that. So you can adapt and you can learn how to do this instead. We all went through that as kids. You know, coloring, no, you gotta color inside the lines. But no, I like coloring everywhere. And as we got older, we learned to appreciate art. And now granted, there are some stuff like Jackson Pollock, which seems like a little kid's artwork, but there's other stuff that's absolutely amazing. And we've all been here, or we've all been through that to get here. Has everybody here seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? Mm-hmm. Love Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Love a lot of Disney things. There was a song, they accidentally kidnapped the grandfather when they thought they were kidnapping the inventor. And I've got the words here. Every bursted bubble has a glory. Each abysmal failure makes a point. Every glowing path that goes astray shows you how to find a better way. So every time you stumble, never grumble. Next time you'll bumble even less. For up from the ashes grow the roses of success. So what are your choices? Are you going to give in? Are you going to resist? Are you going to adapt? whichever way you choose is okay. Matter of fact, you may thrive in any of those environments. Author, educator, and motivational speaker Karen Kaiser Clark says, life is change. Growth is optional. So choose wisely. Thank you.